Coming your service with gameplay of something that has to be related with Advanced Warfare. And the reason I say something is because this video is not about the gameplay, so the gameplay really does not matter. In this video, I'm going to be talking about Interstellar, which I saw over the weekend, and I know I'm a little bit late to do this commentary, especially because the game, or the movie rather, has been out for about 3-4 weeks now. But I still wanted to tell you about it, before Thanksgiving, before Black Friday or something like that, so you can have time to go see it right now if you wanted to. So, Interstellar is directed by my favorite director of all time, Christopher Nolan. I mean, this guy is a legend. He's never made a bad movie in his life, and I don't think he ever will. All hail glorious Nolan. But this movie really does show off many of the reasons why he's a legend. I mean, you'll recognize some of the camera angles like he does, the sort of like structure, plot, sort of development that he does in the movie that he's used in the past, and it doesn't really feel repetitive at all when he does it. It just feels like, oh, okay, I remember he did that before, or he did like a similar thing before, and it's not bad. Like if you remember Dark Knight Rises, the first scene where Bane like gets captured and then they have to rescue him, the sort of the angles they show while he's on the plane, they have those similar angles in this movie, and it's actually pretty nice. They're actually nice shots that they have. The special effects are also some of the best we've seen all year. I don't think it's gonna. I don't know if it'll win best picture of the special effects of the year, just because the Oscar folks are really like, sort of. I don't know what it is, but I feel like they don't like Christopher Nolan getting Oscars or something like that, because I don't know. Dark Knight didn't get. I don't think Dark Knight got many Oscars. Interception only got like a handful, and Dark Knight Rises didn't get any. So I don't know if even they're gonna get anyway. So. But they're honestly really nice, and actually a lot of the special effects that he's done are actually done in real life. Like if you remember from Dark Knight Rises, I'm gonna use the example again. The first scene, that plane actually does crash, and it does fall thousands of feet onto the ground. So that's pretty epic. But as far as the acting goes, everyone's top notch. I mean, Matthew McConaughey is the main actor, and the guy is brilliant. But everyone else is also great. But even saying that, this movie is McConaughey's movie. Like, there's not really no. Thinking about it, there's not really like one guy who takes away everything in most movies. Like Batman Begins, there wasn't just one guy. There wasn't many. Like there were a lot of people in Inception, stuff like that. In this movie, yes, there are other people supporting him, and there are supporting actors, and they're all fantastic in this movie. But I still feel like at the end of the day, this is McConaughey's movie, and like, the other actors are like backstage dancers where they're really not as important as McConaughey. Like he's the main standout in this movie, and he does a fantastic job. His acting's fantastic. I mean, he got the Oscar nomination, and he won it in Dallas Buyers Club last year. And I mean, he's gonna get nominated for this role again. He has to. I love great actors, man. And he plays this role with such emotion. And speaking of which, that brings me to another thing about this movie. Interstellar is by far Nolan's most emotional movie to date. That's not a bad thing at all. There's a lot of stuff that he hasn't really done in the past. Like, he hasn't done too many humor moments in movies, and this movie does have its humor. It has a lot of anxiety, which it was just a little bit weird. Like, you'll be watching the movie, and some scenes are just so intense that you might get anxiety from it. I love how directors can make me feel that good. Like, they actually know what they're doing. They make movies so intense that I actually feel stuff in real life. That's fantastic. And then there's of course all the other elements that mix in. The story is all well designed. The emotional stuff that really does play into the mix, but the story is very well designed, and it doesn't really drown out anything. The emotion does not really drown out any of the key story stuff. But I do have to say this: the soundtrack is insane. I mean, it's not. Well, I mean, it's expected to be insane. It's Hans Zimmer we're talking about here. The guy's a legend, of course, but I mean, I swear to God, this guy's like the god of music in disguise. He was great in like other Nolan movies, and he's great here too. One thing I do have to say, which I've heard some other people say too, is that at times the music does get really loud, and that's not the problem. The problem is there's like a couple of scenes where they might say like really important plot details, and the music's really loud, and you basically can't hear some of the words he's saying. So I was sort of like, what did he say? After that, but besides that, the music and the sounds and the editing and all that stuff, it's all very well done. I don't want to say too much more about this movie for risk that I spoil stuff. Like, I don't want to say how the plot is. I don't want to say exactly if something seems awkward or something like that, because I don't want to spoil anything about this movie, because every movie, I feel like the best way to watch a movie is where you have no idea about how the movie's gonna be. In terms of like, you don't watch too many of the trailers, you don't know too many details about the plot, you don't know too many details about how good the movie, if the movie's good or bad or anything. I feel like that's the best way to watch movies, because then when you watch the movie, you can really be surprised by something. You can really be like, oh my gosh, that was so cool, or you can be like, yeah, I have my own opinions of it, and you have a more open mind when you watch the movie, and you can see like the best moments for yourself rather than having other people tell it for you. And that's fantastic about this movie. But I do have to say, this movie is fantastic. It's very well done. All parts are very great. I mean, it does feel a little bit longer at times. It does feel, very the pacing is a little bit awkward. I mean, but it sort of makes sense. If they're gonna do it like this, then I think they chose a good pacing style, how they did it. The movie is 3 hours long, but it does not feel like 3 hours. Definitely not as long as like Transformers or something like that. Transformers felt pretty long. This one does not feel that long at all. I feel like they could have removed some elements of the movie, but even still, I think 3 hours would still is still a good time for a good Nolan movie. And a lot of people haven't given this movie, 10 out of 10 or perfect scores or anything like that. They've given it, like a sort of like 7 out of 10, 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10, maybe at the highest or something like that. And the reason I think the reason why people haven't given this movie absolutely insane scores is because they don't agree with this movie. I mean, there's nothing bad about this movie. It's well designed. All the acting's fantastic and stuff. And I think every Nolan movie is like this too. They're not bad movies. It's just some things that can maybe be improved, and some scenes that are, a little bit, some people might do it in a different way or something like that. But all in all, this movie's not bad at all. It's just some people may not agree with some of the things he does with it. That doesn't make it bad. It just makes it a little bit different, I guess. And I don't think Nolan has it in him to make it a bad movie. I mean, every movie he makes is top quality, like I said together. Every piece fits perfectly. He's a shining example of really what the best directors are these days. He's my favorite director, and I really feel almost blessed to have the opportunity to watch movies like this that are just so well done. And we live in like this really golden age of movies where we have the great directors, we have great special effects, all the acting is top notch. We've had experience behind us, and now we're making realistic movies that don't look fake. Every scene looks probable, in terms of like the acting is all well done, and it doesn't feel like a commercial or anything like that would. But despite this endless praise that I seem to be giving, I don't think this is Nolan's best movie. I think a lot of people say this also. I think it's one of his. It's a great movie for him. I think it's above his like 50% of movies that he's made, maybe. But it's not the best movie he's ever made. And I think the best movie he's ever made is Dark Knight. I mean, that movie is legendary. There is absolutely nothing wrong with that movie. No one can say anything about that movie. That movie is perfect. Everything is fantastic. The villain is like probably the best villain in any movie ever. I would say. Has wonderful.
Light him up and put him down.
For me, Dark Knight is the best movie that's come out in my lifetime at least. Interstellar. So if you haven't seen it yet, now's the best time to do so. IMAX is a must. Do stand out with that. I don't have a unique rating system set up for this movie, just because I don't want to have it to like out of 10 or something like that. I want to have my own unique system. But for now, I would say that Interstellar has a good chance to be at least nominated for Best Picture of the Year. And yeah, that's my review of Interstellar. Go see it, guys. Tell me what you think in the comments below if you've already seen it or planning to see it. And let me know how you think of it. The next video I'm going to be doing is a bit of a surprise. It's 6 months old at this point, but spoiler alert, it's 10 out of 10 movies. So if you enjoyed this video, please be sure to subscribe at the top, and let me know, did you like this style? I've actually been thinking about doing movie reviews and stuff like that for a while now. I love movies, I love watching them, I love talking about them and stuff like that. It's basically nerdgasms for me. So yeah, let me know.
UAV recon standing by.
I will try to do a little bit more development into this thing, but for now, I think I don't know, man. I don't know. Alright, so thank you for watching my channel. Please subscribe and check out my previous video on the annotation that I've put up yet. And I will hopefully catch you all later. See you guys. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Friendly UAV above. UAV in waiting. Our UAV is online. They're hurting. Keep hitting them. UAV ready. Our UAV is online.
Volcanic activity detected. Please evacuate the premises immediately. Transport doors now opening. Please proceed to the safe zone. Transport doors will be sealed shortly. Please evacuate the area.
UAV in waiting. Our UAV is online. Enemy care package incoming.
Transport doors are now sealed.
Enemy missile strikes. Yeah.